Everyone wishes that they had more time, but the truth of the matter is this: you may already be sitting on dozens of extra usable hours every single week without you even knowing about it. Because here's the thing. For the first time since graduating middle school, I actually did some maths on this, and what I found absolutely stunned me. I had been losing around 40 hours of usable time every single week. So what does that look like? Well, that's a full-time job in and of itself, and around 5 to 6 hours of usable time every single day. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how I figured this out, and my system for using this newfound time in the best possible way. So, without wasting any more of your time, let's get right into it. The first thing that I need you to understand is that you must be tracking where your time is going. Now, most people do not do this at all, but what gets measured gets managed. If you don't know where your time is going currently, then it's going to be very difficult for you to effectively reallocate it. Now, I'm sure I've already got some groans at this. Oh, that's long. Oh, I can't be bothered. But stay with me, because it's way easier than you think. Let me show you how. All you need to do is use your calendar app of choice, be it Apple Calendar, Google Calendar, Notion Calendar, and simply record where your time is going as you go about your day. So it's super simple. All you have to do is just check in every few hours. And the best part of it is it doesn't even have to be 100% perfect. So long as you have a clear enough image, that is all you need. So just to give you an example, after doing this for a while myself, here's what I found. First of all, most days I was starting work on my business at 10 a.m. But that meant that I was losing around 1 to 2 hours of useful work time. And of course, the work that you do closest to waking up is typically the best work that you'll get done during the day because of the position that your brain is in. And in addition to that, I found that after the main work hours and before I went to bed, I was goofing around, so between around the 7:30 and 11:30 mark. So this typically looked like playing games that were frying my brain. This looked like mindless content consumption. This looked like just pretty much doing nothing of any use. And with that, I was losing 4 hours of useful time 7 days a week. So while I was constantly complaining about not having enough time, turns out I actually had way more than I thought. And it was through this conscious observance of where my time was going each day that I was able to identify that. So I strongly encourage you to go ahead and start looking at where your time is going honestly every single day. And you will probably be amazed by what you find. Now, real quick, just before we look at how we can use that extra time that we've gained in the best possible way, if you own a coaching and consulting business and you want to reclaim even more time, having a one-of-one personal brand is the highest leverage thing that you can have right now, because it essentially allows your marketing to run on autopilot and you can print money while you sleep. So if you're interested in taking this to the next level, check the link in the description and you can apply to work with me and my team. Now let's get back to the video. So chances are you now have several new large pockets of time that you can use. The question becomes, what do we do with it? Because if you don't actually do anything with the extra time that you've found, there's no point. Now, something I will say is it's unrealistic to assume that we can fill all of this extra time with focused work, because unfortunately we only have so much energy for that kind of thing each day. It's very, very taxing. I'm not going to be one of these people that tells you to work a 12-hour day and whatnot, because it's unsustainable and diminishing returns kick in very, very fast. But don't get me wrong, if I found time during the day, I absolutely would implement more focused work. So for instance, in my example, extending my workday by that extra 1 to 2 hours in the morning, but especially if you found extra time towards the late afternoon going into the evening, there are other things that we can do that are just as high return on time investment beyond just focused work. The first thing that I'll recommend you is introspection. So this is extremely beneficial for clearer thinking, stress management, and it even improves your sleep quality. So all this is just simply recording your thoughts or brainstorming in a journal of sorts. Just open up a page, write the date, and just dump your ideas on the page. This is an extremely valuable thing that you can do, and you also get the added benefit of it being cathartic for your brain, which makes you sleep better, and when you sleep better, you wake up feeling more energized. You're usually able to wake up earlier as well, so that gives you even more time. So it's really a no-brainer. You should definitely do this towards the end of the day. Another thing that you should absolutely use this extra time for is infrastructure. So working on systems and infrastructure is extremely underrated, especially in the coaching and consulting space for some reason. But this makes the day-to-day operations easier for you and all around more effective. So what does that look like? Well, you can spend time analyzing the customer journey or the pipeline, removing friction where you can. drafting out SOPs or standard operating procedures, basically just instructions for different areas of the business. You can look at KPI and documentation facilities, so key performance indicators. That might be building out spreadsheets and stuff where you can record metrics for content. And ultimately, this all comes down to building that single source of truth, somewhere that you can refer to when you're not sure what to do. And this is going to make operations so much easier for you and also for your team if you have one. I like to use Notion for this. It's a great software for building out that infrastructure and that source of truth. And the final super high return on time investment thing that I can recommend you is learning. So there's this thing that my mentor always likes to say: if you want to win, you must lean in. That means taking the time to learn and study to stay ahead of the curve, and also to get new ideas, new inspiration. Because if you set time aside to be processing new information, you're going to develop new angles and be all around more creative, and you're going to come up with solutions that you otherwise would have struggled to. So think about back in school, people that used to do further reading beyond the syllabus typically came back and performed better in exams and in class. It's the exact same thing when it comes to business or whatever field it is that you're in. Also, just researching and learning late at night is an absolute vibe, to be honest. Now, these three things are not as mentally taxing, and in fact, I would even argue you can do these things better towards the end of the day when your brain is typically a little bit tired, and so it's easier to get into that sort of relaxed creative state. And they're also going to supplement and improve the quality of your normal day-to-day work too. So thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. I hope you found it really valuable. I hope you learned something. And let me know down in the comments as well if you try this. How much extra time did you find that you're actually not using that well during the week? I'm really interested to know. But other than that, I will see you in the next video, and have a great rest of your day.